this point, I believe we need somebody that's not within or tied into any of these counties to come in and inspect the project to be able to tell us if it's safe or not.
Yes, I'm gonna, if I miss any of your questions, just, ask me again, but, first of all, on the inspectors, those do come from outside, so it's the architect, an MEP and an ADA inspector, those had no affiliation with any of the contractors. They
So
did the
may I ask
inspection.
who contracted the inspectors? Was it Dimmit County or was it
Dimmit
the
County.
project company?
Okay.
So it would have been Mr. Martinez.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, on the PSI testing, that was related to, we spoke about it just a little bit ago, that was related to the parking lot. They did the inspection, or even kind of prior to it, they were noticing issues with pavement, especially after there had been rain on the project. Spots where it was sinking, stuff like
Is it
that.
asphalt or cement?
It's asphalt. And so they did
I
the,
thought PSA testing was related to only the concrete, like the pressure for of how much the concrete took to be able to collapse in that sense. And I thought that that was on the baseball field. The last time that we spoke, I asked you about it and you said, no, that was for, I believe there's something on the bottom of the baseball field or something. That's why they were waiting to lay the turf on there.
yes, so that, when you were talking about when they requested additional funding for PSI testing, I assume you were talking about the most recent time, which was with respect to the asphalt. There was a prior time, probably the beginning of the year, where there was testing done on the fields themselves before the turf was laid. And there were, places where testing was, coming, they never did like the core sample type of test. But they did hammer testing and they, drove a water truck over it and stuff like that. And it passed those tests, but there were spots where the concrete itself was not the type that was supposed to have those specifications that were in the contract. And so what Geo did for us instead was extend their warranty on it from either 20 years to 30 years or 25 to 30 years for this field. So if there's ever any failure of the concrete, they have to come and replace it for free. But it's not a safety concern because it's not structural, it's just what's out there on the field. So that was PSI testing that had been done previously. And then more recently, it was with respect to the parking lot.
Yeah, because the last time I spoke about it when it was the funding, that we spoke and it was over the fields, and I think you use the comparison of like if an ambulance needed to drive on the fields for any type of emergency, that's where we would run into some of those structural, I guess, struggles that we would kind of run into. I'm concerned about just not seeing any of the reports. I know that we spoke and me and you spoke and I said, hey, there's 3 weeks left of summer. If there's any possible way that I can fully with confidence saying that the facility is safe for kids to enter, because at this point, you're asking us to be able to vouch to say that the facility is safe. And I'm unsure if I'm willing to take my own children out there, and I have small children, and trust me, I would love for them to have the opportunity to enjoy the facility because it is a great facility. And I do commend, even though there was a lot of difficulties throughout the process, so we heard of, I do appreciate the wantingness to come out here and provide this for the kids in the community. I've been one to support the complex since the very beginning, whether it was water restriction issues or anything like that. Anything I needed to do to be part to make sure that it came to fruition, because at that point we had already kind of been halfway through the project. I definitely stood for it. The only thing is the unwillingness to be transparent and hearing some of these structural things, because we can go from PSI testing of the parking lot, but then we had a different conversation and I didn't know anything about the parking lot. Which, I mean, at that point, if we did want to be nitpicky, we can say that even if we do open the facility and there are structural changes within the parking lot, it'd be hard for them to tell it if it was because it was an error on our part or their part. And we're gonna kind of get into more legal issues rather than waiting for us to make sure that everything is complete and we have full transparency.